Being overwhelmed. It crops up in everyone's life at one point in time. And as I was listening to two coaches this morning, Julie Brown and Steve Blampied, I apologise, Steve, if I've incorrectly pronounced your name. They were talking about what stops us. All of the thoughts and everything that goes through our head. And I thought I'd like to share with you today about overwhelmed. About the cycle of events and the things that we do that we use to protect ourselves, but in turn it keeps us in that place of being overwhelmed. For myself in the past was gaming, Xbox. That was just one of the things. When I felt overwhelmed, when I felt penned in, when I felt anxious, when I felt angry, unsupported, I turned to the Xbox. And at first it was an hour or two a day, but it ended up almost being obsessive about it, spending as much time as possible in order not to face the real world, or what I thought was creating the overwhelming feeling and anxiety that was pinning me down. But I've also used alcohol in the past to get out of that feeling, to suppress that feeling of being overwhelmed, of being angry, of being frustrated. And when I speak to people on a daily basis who are going through that same sort of feeling of being overwhelmed, they have their own thing. Lock themselves away in a garage and tinker away in order to get aware of the reality of that feeling. Only to be overwhelmed again when they come out of that situation. But we all have our hobbies. I apologise. We all have our hobbies. We all have the things that we love to do. But when we're using them to get away from the reality of our life, because it becomes too overwhelming, because it becomes too difficult to deal with, like burying your head in the sand, as the ostrich would do. And that circle becomes a spiral. It drags us down. We spend less time in what we would class as a normal world. Our job might suffer, our relationship might suffer, our relationship with ourselves will definitely suffer, our health, mentally and physically, might suffer. And then we can find ourselves completely lost, like the rabbit down a rabbit hole. Like Neo taking the pill that drops him into the Matrix, feeling absolutely lost and helpless. For myself and the men that I speak to, that helplessness, that overwhelming feeling could be resentment, could be anger, could even slip into some form of depression, darkness, not wanting to come out. But once you spot that, and that's the difficult thing, spotting it. We have this feeling of putting our hand or finger on that pulse of knowing exactly what's happening. Once we spot it, we can start to do something about it. We can start to address it and taking lessons from the past, but not blaming the past, and asking ourselves, well, what can we do now? Where can we go now? How can I overcome this feeling of overwhelmness? And that's what I'm hopefully bringing to men around the world. Simple solutions. But it starts with confronting. It starts with accepting it for yourself. And it starts with a big reality check. You have a great day. Look after yourself.